0.0.0.0. That is the completion of humanity's evolutionary consciousness journey through the 9 underworlds and 13 heavens, the decimal points being an occult reference to a pivotal point in the cycles of resurrection towards the end point of full illumination and spiritual redemption. So when you write the materials, when you write the dates of the Olmecs, you are writing time as a numerical value in consciousness. Time as a numerical value in the progression and evolution of consciousness. And here we arrive at the nexus or conjunction of the Olmec Mayan astrosciences and the Kemetic eschatology and mythos, thus showing that the ancient relationship is there between these highly advanced peoples. The correlation is seen in the Olmec Mayans' sacred tree and the Cometian tree of life, where both mythos have it sitting at the doorway of the underworld. Now, if we take a snapshot, the Mars are not observers of chronicles of administrators of mundane Earth cycle time as we know it, but of cosmogalactic time, or time as consciousness evolution, depicting our planet's sojourn through the 9 hollow-dimensional tapestries of creation. There are 9 holographic dimensional tapestries to creation. Instead of just one underworld, which European Christianity considers to be the be-all and end-all for the damned, the 9 underworlds represented the 9 key steps in humanity's evolution in consciousness. Thus, time in the Olmec Mayan calendrical system, in the time, there are 9 different cycles, time cycles, linked to a 360-day year, which is referred to as a tun. A sequence, listen carefully, a sequence of 13 of these time periods equals a creation cycle of 13 heavens with their specified durations. In other words, each of the 9 underworlds was created through a sequence of 13 heavens. So you have a pyramidal structure of consciousness. And each one, built on the first harmonic cycle, became, as it built itself out, it built itself through 13 variable frequencies to become whole. And then, in that process of building that first cycle, the second cycle is born. So it has to be taken through a numerical value of 13. Again, what is the number of Christ? 13. No, it's not 12. That's the number of the apostles. The Christ number was the value of 13. The number 13 is very sacred in the Illuminati because they understand what that means when it comes to harmonics and cycles of accretion. How many have heard or saw my Book of the Earth tape? In the Book of the Earth tape, I spoke about consciousness accretion and the fact that we, through these 9 cycles of creation and the 13 heavens, in order for us to build our own personal consciousness within a specific cycle of life, that the one element that has become so far 89, what we call, what? Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, helium, these things. These are all part of the harmonic resonant variable of consciousness because there is no 88, there is no 104, there is no 90, there is no number to the elements. This periodic table that we use in science is an illusion. There is only one element, and that is hydrogen. And every variable of that hydrogen takes on a spin orientation. And it is at the it is the cycle and at the spin of the specific atom that gives you that element. It is simply the element hydrogen spinning at a different variable speed to create the element. So, what happens in the development of a consciousness cycle, we expand the consciousness variables within a hologram of being so that we begin to deal with consciousness and perception from every angle of the hydrogen. hydrogen. And as we become more grounded in the consciousness of the hydrogen atom as it represents itself on that specific level, we begin to discover all these different elements. But we're not discovering elements, we are discovering the way that the mind traces the angles of the particles that are spinning. And as we begin to become conscious, more earthbound, we begin to see all the different variables that the hydrogen atom can become. And that's how we get stuck in the illusion, because we keep using thought to solidify each of the variable directions and vectors of that spin. We keep solidifying it and making it real with our thoughts. We give these hydrogen vectors a place to exist by the way we use our thoughts. And when our thoughts are being used a specific way, we now create another element to match it. So as man began to depreciate and degenerate, as well as to become more technically involved in his mind, he began discovering all these different variables of the one hydrogen, and thus became more trapped by the illusion. Now what you have to do is to reabsorb or go through a consciousness accretion of taking all those variables and bringing them back to the self that is giving them their dimensions, that is constantly looking to see all the different variables and thinking that these different illusory spins of that particular particle is real. And it's not. It's just you using your thought process and crystallizing the illusion. So through the consciousness accretion, you stop looking at the illusion as the reality and begin to come and call all those energies back to yourself. Which is why you don't deal with this bullshit. This is why it's hyperdimensional warfare. Which means you got to start taking all the energies from this dimension and incorporating them into your morphogenetic field. Your morphogenetic field is your form-holding field. You have a form-holding field which you call your aura. Without it, you would be all atoms scattering in space. So inside of this morphogenetic field, you have to switch the polarities and begin to withdraw from the illusion and draw back all of the thought energies you put into those particular spin orientations, and then bring yourself back into the oneness, so that once you have accreted all of the energy bands that you've given off in your thoughts, now by bringing the whole dimension back into your morphogenetic field, boom, you disappear like your ancestors did. And you live on a whole other dimensional vortex of reality. I just broke down for you how to get the fuck out of Dodge. And of course, people are going to say, well, what the fuck does he say? He's crazy. I can take that. Can I cash that shit at the bank? Yes, you can. You see, I have just dropped metaphysics that your ancestors used to talk about around the table. You bullshitting around here worried about, again, the job. Yes. Their conversations were completely off the Richter. They were building, when last you built a pyramid? I'm serious. When last did you put down a geyser? The reason being that you are caught up in what you believe to be the spin orientation of reality. It's not. It's an illusion. It's a harmonic phased illusion, and your thoughts are supporting it. And what you do, the elements obey. What you think, the elements obey. So you have to learn that the war is to make you keep constantly playing into the spin orientations of matter that keep your consciousness locked in this bullshit. It makes you believe that your stomach is hurting. It makes you believe that you need sex constantly. It makes you believe that you need to eat all the time. You are feeding an illusion. And the more you feed it, the more it becomes real to you. Because you give life. You are the one that gives meaning to it. Withdraw the meaning, and it no longer exists. given meaning to your slavery. You've even given meaning to your victim consciousness. Oh, the white man just been doing it to us. Every fucking thing on TV.